What's going on, guys? Mile High back here with another video. Today we're going to be going over a yeeter army. Everyone seems to have forgotten about the yeeters because of the new event troops, but let me tell you, they're still actually really strong. They're definitely not as good as the disarmers, but I had a pretty solid day with it. Here's the army. There will be an army link in the description if you just want to copy it. But if you guys make any tweaks to this, let me know what you do and let me know if it makes it any better. I didn't do a ton of testing with different equipment and stuff, so if you guys have a suggestion, I'm completely open to that. So first day using it, we went plus 297. I had a 99% time fail on my first attack, and then my last attack was an absolute disaster. I don't know what happened there. Bad execution. Really poor attack. We ended up with a 78%, but luckily we made up for it on defense. We've already forced a 1-star and a 96% time fail. So we're going to go positive nonetheless, and I will practice with it a little more. This is my first attempt using it. So 297 is a pretty solid day. I should have broke 300. That last attack was so bad. I don't know what happened there. But here's the army again. Again, there will be an army link if you want to just click that to copy it. But without further ado, let's hop into the first attack. All right, so what you're going to want to do is just start off with an RC charge. And you're going to do it basically just like you would with a Root Rider attack. You're just trying to set the pathing and try to break the ring of defenses. And I like going in next to the Kane army camp if it's accessible, because you can kind of keep both of them invisible at the same time. Not in the first stage, because the Kane's going to go try to break into the wall. But once he dies the first time and comes back, it's going to be a lot easier to try to keep him invisible with the Royal Champion. It doesn't always work. Like on this one, it's not going to work. But he's going to do a lot of damage to that enemy king. He didn't get much value on this one. But sometimes if they path together and you can keep them both invisible, it's basically like having double Electro Boots auras. And it's insane. You can melt so many buildings. As you see, that time it didn't quite work out. But there have been a lot of attacks where it does work out. And I even do it with the Giant sometimes, kind of depending on where they are. So we set a nice funnel in that corner. We recall her out. Make sure you're keeping your Fox alive. Then you're going to want to shoot your Queen's Giant Arrow to trigger any invis towers or anything. But if not, just shoot it anyway to set the funnel. You're also going to drop an Ice Golem in front of your Siege Barracks and then wall break them in. I like wall breaking them in one layer because it just helps set that funnel so much deeper. And as you see, we're coming in right next to the Giant here, so we should be able to get him for our main push, which is really nice. I like to plan my attacks around those army camps because those troops can just be so helpful. Spam everything else in, and then as you see here, we're going to jump through the next layer of walls. So you use wall breakers first, then the jump spell, and then the last set of walls, you're going to use your King's Earthquake Boots and Spiky Ball. The Earthquake Boots will open up the wall. So you're trying to save him for last. Once everything gets into the core and you can hit everything in your Warden ability, I don't mind using a slightly early Warden ability because you do have your healers as well. Try to keep them alive through the initial push. And as you see, our King's Earthquake Boots pretty much opened up the whole backside of the base. We have these few compartments that aren't open, but these yeeters have such long range that they'll have no problem reaching over the wall, picking those off. Unfortunately, our Siege Barracks didn't get that much value over here because that multi-archer tower actually stayed up, and all of our troops kind of died off pretty quick, but it's not going to matter. Our King's about to die, but he will go to Phoenix, which is really nice because that Giant actually melts through walls. Having the Giant at the end of the attack is really clutch, because they can basically 2 or 3 shot a max level wall, which is actually insane. As you see here, our healers are staying way back because the yeeters have such long range. They never seem to die. So your yeeters just stay alive for the whole attack, and they have such crazy range. As you see, we're dropping a couple wizards around, cleaning up trash, but they can pretty much reach everything from in here, and what they can't reach, that wizard will take out. So we're down to just one building now. Pretty easy 3 stars. You see all of our yeeters are alive. Queen's full health, Warden's still full health, our Apprentice Warden was still in there. So pretty dominating 3-star. Let's go hop into another attack. All right, into another attack, we have an Invis Tower with it covering the entire core with the Town Hall. I forgot to mention I am a little bit under the weather with a sore throat, so if that's why my voice sounds weird and I'm talking really quiet, that's why. So just bear with me. Kind of losing my voice, but I didn't want to skip making videos. I still wanted to make videos for you guys. So you see we're going with the RC charge again. And then we'll just be able to use a wizard to pick up that Kane whenever we feel like it. And then he should be able to break through a lot of walls and get a lot of value here, because that yeeter won't do too much damage to him. He should have no problem hitting that yeeter and just basically 2-shotting him. So we're going to get out the monolith here. And unfortunately, we do target the CC. But there wasn't really any value around, so I just let her actually beat through the CC and try to get him as weak as possible. We take out the minion, the super minion. And I think we got one of the Ice Golems. As you see here, we're going to use the wizard. And we'll pick up that Kane, and then that wizard will be behind that Kane to support. And it should get some decent value. Should take out the enemy RC. shoot our Queen's Giant Arrow from over here, and we pick up the Giant with another wizard. So we got the Giant moving in with our main push again. As you see, we're going to set up a nice funnel here. We got the funnel set here from the Royal Champion. Funnel set down here from the Queen and Siege Barracks. Everything else right down the middle. Could easily jump right into these the Town Hall compartment. I should have honestly dropped it on that corner over there. But that wall was open anyway, so I guess it didn't end up mattering. Our kane actually kind of got destroyed. Didn't get as much value as I thought, but he did open up some of the backside walls, which is really nice. Hit our warden ability to protect everything. Unfortunately, the invis tower, I must have missed it with my giant arrow. I wasn't paying attention, but yeah, I didn't even notice that in the live attack. But the whole point of that giant arrow was to trigger that invis, so I don't know what the hell happened there. Big mistake on my part. But you see, we have so many troops alive down here. This is crazy. Our Siege Barracks troops actually stayed alive this time, and look how much trash they've cleaned up on the outside. All of our yeeters in the core. Our Royal Champion does go down, but fortunately... Oh no, we still had our ability, so we do pick off that Multi-Inferno. Look how quick that scatter shot goes down when all these yeeters are focused on it. But look, this base is crushed again. We're just going to 2x through this, because at this point it's just cleanup. Our RC is going to stay alive. Yeah, we have every hero alive. All of our yeeters are still alive. We still have Valkyries from the Siege Barracks. This one was absolutely crushed. We don't even have to fight the enemy yeeter. We get the 3-star. Another crushing attack. So let's go hop into our third one. All right, yet another attack. This guy actually has his defending army camps in the core, which I'm starting to see a lot more in High Legend League. But as you see, we have good access to the Kane and the Giant. I'm going to go in from the Giant this time and use the Kane with my main push. As you see here, I'm able to get a couple invis cycles with the Giant in it, so it just helps keep him alive a little bit longer. Unfortunately, he's going to get targeted by the monolith, so he's going to get absolutely wrecked. But it is what it is. I should have honestly invised him there, but it might have been a waste. He was probably going to go down anyway. So we invis again. We're going to push in here, maybe trigger that enemy disarmer, but I'm not sure. We still have 2 invises left. I really thought we were going to go for that scatter shot, and she ended up going down for the monolith, which is actually better, but it threw me off, so I ended up wasting an invis. But as soon as that goes down, we're going to recall her out, because I don't think we're going to get the Inferno. Too risky. I didn't want to lose the Fox. So we use a couple wizards to pick off those trash buildings there, and then we shoot our Queen's Giant Arrow. And then we'll drop our Siege Barracks farther to the right with the Ice Golem way out in front, and you definitely want to wall break them in. I should have wall broke that next section as well, but I was too busy focusing on my main army. We're going to pick up the Kane, and he's going to push in with our main troops, and he's also going to open up the walls. So I really didn't need that jump spell. I just wanted to make sure it was open before my troops wandered, because this stuff was really close. Probably would have pulled my yeeters out. So that's why I used the jump, because there's not going to be any walls really we have to worry about on the back anyway, because we can use the King's ability to open up the rest of the base, no problem. Our Frosty over here is hitting the Expo, which is actually nice because that allows our wizards to pick it off. We hit our King's ability. Unfortunately, we didn't open these backside walls, so that was not the best Earthquake boots. Probably could have waited for a better time, but all of our yeeters can reach this compartment, which is the dangerous compartment anyway. It's got the Fire Spitter, the Ricochet Cannon, and the Queen, so they'll be able to reach that no problem. And the backside won't be too big of a deal. Unfortunately, our RC is going to go down, but the Hog Puppet might get the Ricochet Cannon. No, it's going to go down. It does do some damage though and distracts it for quite a while. So we're just going to 2x through this again, because at this point, again, it's just cleanup. We have nothing left to deploy. Our yeeters are staying healthy because they just stay so far back that your healers can just keep them alive easily through the whole attack. We still have a Pekka alive from the Siege Barracks. Still have a bunch of wizards, so it was a pretty comfortable 3-star again. Again, it's just so hard for these yeeters to die because they're so tanky and they have such long range that it just keeps your healers out of danger pretty much for the whole attack, so they heal up your yeeters and keep them alive for pretty much the whole thing. So I got one more attack that I'm going to show you guys, and I'll catch you guys there. Alright, this time we have a nasty rage compartment in the core. So I'm just trying to think which corner I want to come in from. And I like going through the monolith first. And here we can actually pick up the Kane with the Electro Boots, so that's what we do. The Kane will open up walls. Not that it really matters for the RC, but you see here we're going to be able to keep both of them invisible here for a little bit. I was a little bit slow on that, but I didn't want to, get greedy and just try to keep the Kane alive and mess up my RC walk. But now it's going to come back in his second stage, and we basically have double Electro Boots now. Unfortunately, he wanders out and is going to trigger that disarmer. But him fighting off that disarmer is actually really good, because then our main army won't have to worry about it. At least, not all 3 stages of her. He might completely beat her, though. I'm not sure. Already going to take her down for the second time. I'm trying to keep an eye on that up there, as well as still being able to see the RC charge. And he's wrecking the disarmer. It comes back for the third time. I gotta watch this. Man, he just wrecked that disarmer all 3 stages and is still alive. So now he's gonna go pick off more trash on the outside. And I could go in from this corner over here now and get him to join up with the main push, which is exactly what I do. He's gonna go down because that ground expo did lock onto him, but it's no big deal. I used one wizard on that giant over there. Unfortunately, I thought he could hit through the wall and kill that queen. But unfortunately not, but he does break the wall and he's going to take out the queen anyway. Could have honestly waited a little longer, but I wanted him to just get some value back there because sometimes it can struggle a little bit on time. So we hit our warden ability when we're going through that super dragon, which I believe is becoming meta in defensive CCs. A lot of people are running a super dragon with ice golem, which is personally what I'm running, and it's defending really well. So you're going to start seeing that a lot now, not nearly as many triple ice golem as you used to see, because obviously the super dragon is the best bet at defending against the disarmer, because as you know, the disarmer, when it got nerfed, it doesn't target air troops anymore. So that's why people are using the super drag to try to help against the disarmers, and it's worked for me. I got that time fail I forced was actually disarmers, because my super dragon never went down and just wreaked havoc on all his troops. So it ended up thinning out his army enough to where it time failed. And unfortunately, our yeeters are getting melted by the monolith, and our healers actually died this time, which is very rare. I believe this is the only time I lost all my healers. Queen's still up. We still had the... Oh, we had the king's ability, so it wasn't even as close as I thought. We held on to our earthquake boots and spiky ball as long as we could. So it actually was pretty comfortable. King still had his phoenix stage as well. Queen's still healthy. We still have a couple wizards. Another comfortable 3-star. So we went 6 for 8. Again, today went plus 297. Pretty solid for the first time using this. So let me know in the comments how this works out for you guys. Drop a like if you guys enjoyed. And I'll catch you guys next time.